Hey, what's up guys? I'm super excited to make this video for you just because a lot of you guys know that I've had eczema for my entire life, ever since I was a baby. A lot of you guys have been asking for what kind of treatment I use. And I'm proud to say that the FDA has finally approved the medicine that I've been actually under a clinical trial for the past 2 years. Super excited to show you. It's called Dupixent. It was previously known as dupilumab. It's an injection, and I'll show you guys a little bit how it works. And FYI, this is not a sponsored video. This is something that has personally affected and changed my life for the better, and it's something I just really want to share with you guys. So a little bit about eczema. Eczema is a skin condition in which you get a lot of rashes, a lot of itchy rashes, very scaly and bumpy, and it's very flaky too. Your skin actually flakes off the more you scratch it, and the more you scratch it, the more irritated it gets, and it'll get more red, and it'll start bleeding, and it'll start oozing, and it's not a pretty sight. When I was a kid, I used to have it under my neck. I used to have it in my sweat gland areas behind the back of my knees. But as I got older, it spread away from the glands and into just on my arms, on my legs. The worst of it all was when it reached my hands. And for some reason, it really focused almost exclusively on my hands for, I think, from middle school to high school. There's no better way to put it than to say that I looked like a burn victim, because that's exactly what it looks like over time. It's very dark in complexion too, the longer you have it. And it actually changes the tone of your skin. And it got so bad to the point where I couldn't shake people's hands, you know? My hands were scaly, and it wasn't soft and smooth like skin's supposed to be. It was scaly and rough, and it was always itching, I was always scratching. It was so bad on my hands that when I was driving, I realized I had a collection of dead skin flakes in my car, just because where my hands would hover or around the steering wheel, you know, the skin would just fall off my hands, and it was so dry, and it's disgusting. And that was something I was very embarrassed about. And over time, it starts to eat at you, and it kind of tears down your confidence. And what's even crazy is that it affected my relationship with Tiff, who I've been with for 5 years now. And the first couple of years, I pretty much tried to hide all my symptoms from her, and I couldn't be intimate with her because every time I touched her, you know, she could sense that my hands were scaly. You know, not only does it affect your skin, but it definitely affects your entire lifestyle. Now, through the years, I've actually tried a lot of different methods and different medicines to try and remedy eczema. You know, I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to take me to a lot of skin doctors. They would prescribe me topical steroids and stuff like that, and they worked. They worked because the steroids, you know, they definitely work. And within a week, you know, you would see the eczema start to recede, but it wears down your skin. As it heals, the texture of your skin starts to thin out, and it actually damages the skin even more. And because it's a steroid, it becomes very dependent on this lotion, and without it, your eczema actually comes back 10 times worse. So that didn't work. Later on in my years, I started turning towards Eastern medicine, like Chinese herbal remedies. I went to see this acupuncturist, and you know, he put needles in me and try to release the poisons and stuff like that. And none of that stuff really worked. Now, eczema, it's weird because it likes to travel around your body. It doesn't ever stick in one place. But eventually, it started traveling up to my face. And that was when I realized I really needed to find help. It grew around my eyes. I looked like a panda after a while, with red spots around my eyes. Because this was so bad, my hands got even worse too. And it got to the point where I couldn't even close my hands. Like, I couldn't do this. Doing this was a luxury about 3 years ago. And I couldn't do this without something cracking. My skin would literally crack, and I could feel it burst open. So with all that stuff, it made it really hard to work, you know, because I make videos for a living, and I need eyes to see. I need to be in front of the camera, and I can't be having rashes on my face like that. And then my hands, I need my hands to move things, to pick up the camera, to, you know, to do things, and I couldn't do that. And I couldn't be intimate with people. I couldn't shake people's hands without feeling like I was some sort of creature. So luckily though, I had a friend of mine who introduced me to a new research that was happening about 3 years ago, and they were running tests on a drug called dupilumab. That's the generic name for this medicine. So dupilumab is basically an antibody that you inject into yourself, and it clings on to certain proteins inside your body, and it shuts down the very thing that creates eczema. Before, with the topical steroids and all these other remedies, there was a lot of side effects to it because it wasn't a direct target of that medicine. But for Dupixent, it is a direct target. It goes straight to the very source of the problem. It took them many years to figure it out, but I'm glad that they figured it out now. When I heard about this, it was too good to be true. I actually was very skeptical, and in fact, it's one of those things where, yeah, it might work for some people, but will it work for me? Like, it might be that guy, that the greatest breakthrough for the thing I have doesn't apply to me because I'm that unlucky guy that just has a very severe case of it. So yeah, I was really nervous going into this study program just because, you know, it's a new medicine. No one's really too sure what the side effects are, and that's why they have this clinical trial. But, you know, at the end of the day though, I'd rather not live with hell, you know? I'd rather not have all these things happening, you know? If it took a leap of faith in this new medicine, then, you know, that was something I was gonna have to do. And even if it wasn't gonna help me, I thought at least it's worth a try. Within the first month, it was less itchy, less red, more just kind of pink, still dry skin, still there, but I think it took a full 3 months for me personally for everything to kind of go away. I was in this clinical trial for 2 years, so that means for majority of this clinical trial, I kept going back there as a patient, but I didn't even look like a patient. I looked cured, you know, and they would always joke with me like, man, like, should you even be a part of this anymore? You know, it's a miracle drug. This drug really worked really well for me. There were no side effects, and it was a very painless experience, you know? I mean, the only thing that you have to get over is the fact that you have to inject yourself. I think that took me one time to really just kind of poke myself, kind of get that initial fear out of the way, and I was like, oh, this is what it is? Oh, okay, not so bad. And the rest is history. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how I use Dupixent. Now, I'm actually really proud of this because the shots I received during the clinical trials were this like bootleg looking needle, a syringe. But now it comes in a nice little fancy box like this, which is pretty cool because this is a really big step up from what I got. And it's all branded too now, so that's pretty cool. And that's what it looks like. Very fancy syringe actually. It's got this nice plastic casing around it. And so I will show you guys how I inject myself. Alcohol wipe. Always have an alcohol wipe and cotton ball. So you usually want to go for the belly. You want to inject somewhere that's got a nice chunk of fat. So the belly would be a pretty nice fatty area to do this. Take this off. You want to pinch your skin, get a nice chunk of fat here, and then you go in and then you inject. It's a really thick serum, so it takes a while. Oh, cool. Just want to dab it and then you're done. But this is very cool. This has surprised me because you inject it. Once you release, the spring also releases and it pushes the syringe out for you. That was really cool. And now it's safe. Now you will never poke yourself. That's pretty cool. And that's it. So simple. This medicine really works. I mean, my hands didn't look like this 3 years ago. You know, this was a mess 3 years ago. You know, my mom, she's worked endlessly and tirelessly throughout my childhood to try and find remedies for this. And to be a part of this trial and to be a part of this development, you know, of this new medicine that cured the very thing that's plagued me my entire life. I mean, it's come full circle, and that's just a beautiful thing in itself. And I couldn't be more honored to have been a part of something like this. And I just want to get the word out there. Again, this is not a sponsored video. I just want to share my journey with eczema with you guys. I wish I actually documented everything. I think I was too shy and too embarrassed and too ashamed of eczema to really have taken any pictures or video of it. I didn't document anything. But now with this result, I wish I had, you know, so I had something more, you know, substantial to show you guys. So if you guys want to learn more about Dupixent, aka Dupilumab, check out Dupixent.com. Check it out. You know, hopefully, you know, this video was of some help for anyone that has eczema, or if you know anyone that has eczema, do share this video and let them know about Dupixent. All right, thanks guys.